Stop trying to trick the algorithm and just make good content. Alright, so if you want some Karen to tell you how to grow your YouTube channel in 5 easy steps in under 10 minutes, then you can go watch one of those videos. This video is for you if you can stomach the truths about what it takes to grow on this platform and you actually want to know. Now, I realize that I'm not the biggest channel in the world, but I do have a lot of digital marketing experience, and I grew to 2,000 subscribers in just under 3.5 months. So I know a few things, and I'm continuing to grow at a rate of between 50 and 100 subscribers a day. So those are my credentials if you're wondering. If you watch this and you want me to take a look at your channel, I charge $150 per consulting session that lasts an hour. I'll look at everything and give you a lot of suggestions, and we can go over more of what I know about YouTube, everything I've studied. If you do want to do that, just reach out to me over Instagram and we will talk. Another little plug here, if you're willing to, please comment down below what resonated with you. It definitely helps me as an educator to understand what's working and what's not. So please comment as the video goes through, or as you finish it, make sure to comment what it is that helped you. So let's talk about what's on this whiteboard right now and kind of the theory of everything that I've come up with when it comes to growing on YouTube. The first thing that we need to talk about is why you're on YouTube in the first place. In my mind, there are two business reasons to be on YouTube. There could be a million other personal reasons, but business reasons to be on YouTube: either you want to indoctrinate customers, or you want to build an audience so you can get more customers. Most likely you want a combination of both of these, but your content is going to skew to either of these sides. So audience, this is like MrBeast. He just wants as many subscribers, as many viewers as possible, because the more people that watch his content, the more money he makes. He's not really selling anything else besides merch. On this side, indoctrination, this is like something where you already have a really big audience elsewhere that you get all of your customers from there, or maybe you're a local business or something like that, and you want to show people how knowledgeable you are. You're not really that interested in growing a huge audience. Everybody exists somewhere here on the spectrum, but I'm going to talk today mostly about growing a big audience that you can then monetize down the line. Okay, so with that groundwork laid, now let's talk about this. This eye that I've drawn here, and it says goal, and then it has like a clock symbol, right? So this eye represents the YouTube algorithm, the almighty algorithm that everybody always talks about. So think about this as like Sauron's all-seeing eye. I got this analogy from Sam Evans, didn't come up with it on my own. But the YouTube algorithm sees every single piece of content uploaded to the platform. It sees it, and its goal is to maximize the amount of time that each of its users spends on the platform. And there are three main important factors that go into everybody staying on this platform. So the things that the algorithm cares about the most and that's going to prioritize the most are these three things that you see here. So the first one is watch time. You've likely heard that before. The second one is CTR, click-through rate. Also likely heard that before. This third one you might not have heard as much, but session time. This is crucially important. This is how much time people spend on YouTube after they watch one of your videos, or how much they spend specifically on your channel. I mean, that's what you want. You don't care if they're on other people's channels. You'd rather have them be on your channel. Increasing session time on your channel especially is going to help boost your page. These three things what all-seeing eye is looking at. It's looking at how long are people spending watching this video. Of the people that I show this video to, how many are clicking through to watch it? And then here on the other side, how much time are they spending after they watch that first video? So in this video, we're going to talk about how to increase each of these metrics and why you might be failing on YouTube, or how to succeed if you haven't started yet. So here with watch time, this is mostly focused on the content quality. You need to have great content. Your click-through rate, this is mostly focused on having a great hook. You need to hook people into the video before they can watch it. Session time, this is focused on having an amazing channel. A channel that's binge-worthy, that people can spend hours on if they want to. So these are the three metrics that we're going to focus on. And then there's a couple other things down here at the bottom that we're going to cover now. My battery's about to die, so I'm going to go change that and then we'll be back. All right, we're back. So now let's talk about what's here on the bottom of the whiteboard. So we've got two things here. These are the two things required to grow any audience. The first one is creating high quality content. The second one is enduring long enough to get noticed. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take a while. It honestly doesn't have to take that long depending on how high quality your content is. But just understand that if you put low quality content out there and you're trying to endure long enough to get noticed, you're never going to get noticed. You have to put high quality content out. So you can get off YouTube or any other social media platform if you're just filming yourself doing stuff that nobody cares about. And then here we've got these arrows all pointing to this question: what should I post? You're like, what are these arrows doing? Like, you got the eye and then the arrows. What is it that I should post? All three of these, watch time, CTR, and session time, point back to this question. What is it that I should be posting so that I can increase all of these? This should inform this question. And the first point that I have here is the human condition. So the reason anything goes viral is because it comments on the human condition in a way that anybody can relate to. The reason that a funny joke is funny is because anyone can relate to it. What is it that Jim Gaffigan and Jeff Foxworthy and all these comedians talk about? They talk about daily life. They bring humor into things that we do every single day. So the biggest answer to the question, what should I be posting, is what relates to the human condition. Again, this is if you want to grow big on YouTube. You need to appeal to a wide audience. Niching down is important if you're growing a business and you're more on the indoctrination side. But if you're trying to grow a big audience, you need to create content that everybody cares about. This second one, searchers versus scrollers. This is how you decide what type of content to make. If you're trying to create searchable content or scrollable content. The best way to create searchable content is just to type your keyword in, whatever your niche is or whatever you're making a video about, type that keyword into the YouTube search bar and then look at all the options that come up. Those are the most popular questions when it comes to your topic. So you need to make a video on that if you want it to be seen and you want it to be continually seen. People are asking those questions to YouTube and to Google every single day that you just typed into the YouTube search bar. Scrollers, on the other hand, are people scrolling through YouTube, or they go to their homepage and they see all of these different people trying to get them to watch their video. In this case, they're not searching for anything by typing it in, but they are searching for something that's going to give them the most pleasurable viewing experience. Scrolling is how MrBeast grew. It's because he created concepts around his videos that are so crazy that anybody would want to click on them. So you need to ask yourself, is this a searchable video or is this a scrollable video? And the best combination, in my opinion, is both. Go to search to figure out a searchable video, but look at other people's most popular videos to find out a good scrollable video. And now this last one here I think is the most important. Just ask yourself the question, what would I want to watch? There are two reasons this is so beneficial. The first one is that you're going to enjoy making that content, and so you'll be more likely to be consistent. The second one is that you'll be more likely to attract people just like you, and they'll like the content that you're doing. If you look at your YouTube channel and every video you're like, I wouldn't watch that if it wasn't my video, you're doing this wrong. Okay, so now let's talk specifically about watch time, what you can do to increase it. And I've written up here this quote. This is a quote by myself, actually, and it is, you can't trick YouTube. Let me repeat that to you. You can't trick YouTube. There are so many people that are trying to get you to trick YouTube. They're telling you, you have to pay attention to this thing about the algorithm, this and that and whatever. No, you can't trick it. You have to create good content if you want to grow on here. You have to create content that people actually want to watch. So stop trying to trick the algorithm and just make good content. And the minute you start making good content, you're going to increase watch time. That's honestly, like, we could end the video right here. That is so foundational and it's so misunderstood. It makes me really upset. Anyways, let's talk about, this really is divided into two parts, your content quality and your production quality. Let's discuss content quality first. So this first point is Matt D'Avella. Matt D'Avella, his pinned tweet at the very top of his Twitter feed is, be so good you don't have to worry about algorithms. That, it goes right along with this. You can't trick YouTube. Even if you could trick YouTube, why would you want to? Aren't you on here to create something that's actually going to help somebody? That's what you should be focusing on. Be so good you don't even have to worry about the algorithm. Secondly, brand equity. A lot of you might not understand what that means. Brand equity is basically like what people feel about your brand. When you think about a Graham Stephan video versus a Nathaniel Drew video, I would say the brand equity of Nathaniel's channel is much higher in my opinion, because Graham is, you know, look at his thumbnails. He looks like a scammer in some of these thumbnails. But when you look at Nathaniel's channel, you're like, all right, this is he knows what his brand is. He knows who he wants to appeal to. There are different brands and that's okay, but just make sure that you keep up with it. Even though Graham's thumbnails are like sort of scammy, they're consistent and they're professionally made. Whereas some people, like, I'll put up some like super ugly thumbnails, like, don't do this to yourself. This is so bad. The other thing is like begging for people to like, begging for people to comment on every single video. That's just gonna decrease brand equity. I know it increases engagement and that's good, but there's ways to do it without just like being super annoying or being exactly like everybody else asking for like. And the other thing is asking for subscribers. Why would you ask for somebody to subscribe to your channel if they're never gonna watch one of your videos? I know it's really tempting to try to get people to subscribe to your channel like friends and family and all this stuff, but if you're in a niche that they don't care about, just don't even try to get them to do that, because they're not going to watch your videos. YouTube's going to see, okay, you have, 20,000 people subscribe to your channel and only 50 of them actually care about your videos. Not worth it. Not worth it at all. You're gonna have a ton of subscribers and no watch time. So make sure that you pay attention to that. Okay, this one right here is be different. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. The people who grow on this platform are different. So it drives me nuts whenever it's just like a bunch of little Graham Steffens running around trying to make all these videos that are exactly just like his. Like, be yourself. Why would you want to be anybody else? Be different and you're gonna grow. Like, you are your niche. It's fine. Just be yourself and stop trying to copy everybody else. So this one here, interesting things. Like, if you live a really boring life and you're not doing anything of value for anybody, like, why would anybody want to watch that? Be interesting. Just be interesting and people are gonna watch your videos more. Then this one here, architecture. Yesterday I went with some friends. We were like walking through this beautiful pergola thing in a park here in London, and it was gorgeous. I was so blown away by it, and it reminded me of like Rome, going to Rome, the Colosseum, or like the Eiffel Tower, or New York, all of these things. Why do people go to these places? Why are they so blown away? And why are they so happy when they leave? Like, that's such a good customer experience, right? You go to the Colosseum, they're like taking pictures in front of it. They enjoy it every single second. And why is it? It's because the architecture is so good. Guys, architecture is your content. You want somebody who's watching your video to be like, holy cow, this is the Colosseum. And every time they watch your content, they're so enthralled by it that they just keep coming back. And this relates really well to the architecture thing as well, because they spent a long time planning it, then they spent time building it, then they released it to the public, and it's still generating views today. There are still people who want to go see it. And that's what you want your content to be. Something that's somewhat timeless, evergreen, that people are always going to care about. And when they're there, they're going to be like, wow, this is so cool. And when they're done with it, they're going to be like, I'm so glad that I spent the time watching that video. Okay, the next one here is do something else. So being a YouTuber is all about talking. Like, it has this weird stigma about it because there's people that are just like talking, like they just talk all day. They make more money talking than they do actually doing their thing. But the thing is, if they didn't talk about it, they wouldn't make the money off of YouTube. But if they didn't do the thing, they wouldn't be able to talk about it. And so if all you do is YouTube, I kind of made this mistake when I started out, is I thought I was just going to be a full-time YouTuber, but I realized that, it's not very exciting to be a full-time YouTuber. Like, nobody's going to care about you quite as much as if you have like a more interesting life outside of YouTube. I think that's what I really love about Ali Abdaal, is he's a doctor. He's like, I'm a junior doctor working in Cambridge, and I'm also a YouTuber with 800,000 subscribers. Like, what? Who has 800,000 subscribers and is a doctor? I'm interested in him just because of that. And so if you do something interesting, like, talk about it, be different, but it can almost be like a benefit to do it as a side hustle because people are more interested in you that way. Okay, this one here, would I watch this? Just ask yourself this question every single time you're about to make a video. Would I watch this video? And if the answer is no, don't make it. This one here, this word, edutainment. If you're an education channel, you have to make sure that you're like putting funny things in there, just generally allowing people to entertain themselves while they educate. That will increase your watch time a lot, and people will like you because of it. This last one is high value per minute. I got this one from Marco from Whiteboard Finance. He talks about how every video he makes, he tries to pack as much value per minute so there's not like fluff. Like, if you're just putting stuff out there for the watch time, YouTube's gonna know, the people that follow you are gonna know, like, just stop. High value per minute. Okay, so that's everything to do with content quality. Now let's go over to production quality. When I first started out, I thought production quality didn't matter at all, but it really does. Watch time, CTR, and session time helps YouTube know that you're taking this seriously, but what's in the background of your videos helps people know that you're taking this seriously. I thought it didn't matter, but everything will increase when you do this, I promise. I have a friend, no offense to this friend, but it's like him walking down the stairs and filling up his water bottle while he's filming his YouTube video. Like, people can tell you're not taking it seriously when that happens, and maybe you can do that when you're huge, but when you're a young channel, you need to really show them that you're taking things seriously. So your background's really important. I recommend like ambient lighting, some cool things in the background. This isn't an excellent example, but it's not a bad example either. Check out some of my other videos to see the background that I use in there. It's really helped increase everything, and some people will comment just because they see something behind you. And you're always, just pay attention to your own behaviors. You're always looking at YouTubers' backgrounds, and then you think like, oh, it doesn't matter, but you're always looking at them like, what is that in the background? And it helps you increase watch time quite a bit. So that's really important. The camera of all of these is probably the least important. You shouldn't shy away from using your phone, but what's more important is that the audio is really, really good. So also I'll link my camera that I use that's pretty cheap, and the audio, the microphone that I use, down below so that you can check them out. I use a Canon EOS M50 as well as a Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. And the whole setup cost me like $600 to $700, which honestly isn't bad at all. But again, of all of these production quality things, camera is the least important. So down here, editing and B-roll. If you don't know what B-roll is, that's what goes on top of your video after you film the initial part. And editing, it's just so important. So important that you're creating an interesting viewing experience for your customer. Think about everybody who watches your video as a customer. Are you creating an interesting viewing experience for them so that they want to come back the next? There's a whole market of people that will pay for feelings, and sometimes as a YouTuber, that's what you're doing, is you're helping people feel something, and the best way to do that is through editing, making sure that your videos tell the type of story that you want them to and keep viewers engaged throughout the whole process. All right, so now let's talk about CTR. The quote here is, "Content is king, distribution is queen." This is so true. It doesn't matter how good your content is, if you can't get it out to the right people, nobody's ever gonna watch it. But if you just try to get it out to the right people, only focus on the marketing and not the content, forget about it. You're not gonna be successful. So I've split this up into two parts. First of all is the CTR part. This is actually getting people to click, but then, you know, to get people to click, you need to get them to see it first. So we're also going to talk about impressions, which impressions means how many times people have seen your title and thumbnail. So it's about optimizing the title and thumbnail and then getting as many people as possible to see the title and thumbnail so that they can click on it. So let's talk about the title and thumbnail. The first point I have here is a clickable concept. This is really important. This is how YouTubers like MrBeast or Mark Rober grow, because they have clickable concepts. They have concepts that people actually care about, they want to click on. It might just be because they're really interesting, or it might be because they're actually adding value. But anyway, yeah, they're very clickable concept. And then another tip here is to put curiosity out there. You know, Alex Becker's channel has been kind of a topic of interest lately. He's been posting a lot, and all of his thumbnails are based on curiosity. Like, look at this one. He's holding up like some weird video game controller and talking about sleep hacks. In the video, he doesn't talk anything about the video game controller, but because he has the video game controller, you're interested to click through. It's clickbait. Curiosity is just another word for clickbait. But you can do it the right way without, you know, degrading your brand equity. So now let's talk about the title of your video. Everybody's gonna tell you to have, you know, your primary keyword and then to have like an emotional hook for people to click on it. And honestly, yes, you need both of those things, but I would encourage you to focus on the human over the spider. What that means is the spiders are gonna crawl, the algorithm, SEO spiders are gonna crawl your title, and they're gonna say, okay, this is about this thing. But they're also going to crawl your transcription, they're going to crawl your description, they're going to crawl your tags. So it knows, it's gonna have a general idea of what your video is about, even if you don't put it in the title. So what's most important about the title is that people want to click on it, because people are the ones clicking on it, not spiders. Spiders categorize it, people click on it. So make sure that your title promises something to them that they really want to click on. This is an art as much as it is a science. It takes a long time, and honestly, most YouTubers would grow a lot faster if they'd make a video and then they can sit there and like think about the title for like a week so that they get the best possible title for click-through rate. The title that I ended up picking for my most popular video, which has like 35,000 views at the time of recording this, I had probably 30 to 40 different variations of that title written out. I bounced it off a few different people. I got different opinions of, you know, what people would actually be interested in clicking on before I launched it. So that's a great idea. You don't have to do it every single time, but if you have a big video that you want to do really well, then it's a good idea to just bounce that off of people and take a while to decide on what you're gonna call it. Okay, next is your thumbnail. This part is only for humans, people scrolling, people searching. They're going to click on your video because of your thumbnail and because of your title. The reason I say that is because the spiders aren't gonna crawl your thumbnail, so you should make it specifically so humans want to click on it. It's very important. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is to be different and just make the thumbnail really interesting. Like Nathaniel Drew is an excellent example of having different looking thumbnails. Excellent, excellent example. And this website, thumbsup.tv, is a great way. You can put the picture you want to use for your thumbnail as well as your title in thumbsup.tv, and I'll show you what it'll look like. I've also heard of YouTubers who Photoshop the picture they're thinking of using as a thumbnail with their title on a bunch of different places throughout YouTube to see how eye-catching it is and kind of tweak it based on that. Okay, so that's how you achieve high click-through rate. There's only two elements really. It's just the title and the thumbnail. That's all you've got. So now let's talk about impressions. How do you get people to see your videos in the first place? There's three three ways to do this really in my mind. The first one is engagement. The more people that engage with your video, the more YouTube will push it and search and suggest it. So getting comments and likes is important. Just figure out how to do it without being annoying. So the next one here is SEO, which is your title, your tags, your description, as well as the transcription of what you're saying. YouTube can tell if you're talking about something completely different than what the title of your video is. Again, your title should have your main keyword in it. Your tags should be your main keywords, your secondary keywords, and any other channels that might be related to it, or like channels you talk about. When I write my tags, I write the name of the video, I write all of the different resources that I mentioned in the video, and then I usually go to the YouTube search bar and I type in my keyword, and then I type the letter A. And I look at all of those and I see if there's any of those most searched things that might fit well as a tag. And then I type my keyword again, and then I do B. And then I type my keyword again, and then I do C. And I go as long as it takes me to find some good high quality keywords that I feel like people are actually searching for that I can fit into my tags. So once you have your tags done, it's important to write your description, and these two things should match. Your description should be like a blog post where you have your primary and secondary keywords just kind of scattered throughout. Don't skip this step. It helps to show YouTube that you are legit and you actually care about this stuff. And then as far as your transcription goes, just make sure you're talking about what the video says it's about and you'll be fine. Okay, so this last point here is cross promotion. Just a couple notes before we talk about cross promotion. First one here is YouTube people like YouTube. So people who like watching YouTube videos prefer that to Instagram, they prefer that to Facebook, they prefer that to a podcast. So why would you try to go find people to watch your YouTube video on a different platform? Find people on YouTube to watch your YouTube video. They already like it, and you won't have to convince them to try to come from another platform that they like better. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is that YouTube likes YouTube people. They like people to stay on their platform. And so if you're figuring out ways to get people to come from other YouTube channels to your YouTube channel, they're going to like you even more than if you're getting a bunch of your traffic from off YouTube. I've seen it in so many different channels that get their traffic from other sources that they just end up plateauing, or they just never grow because they're getting a bunch of people from off the platform to go directly to YouTube. And I realize that you kind of have to start that way in some ways, but honestly, I would just stick with YouTube. I wouldn't do a ton of cross promotion. Honestly, the only way to get people to come from other YouTube channels to your YouTube channel is to comment. And when it comes to commenting, I know a lot of people like go to another channel, they'll comment, and then they'll like that, and then they'll switch to another account and they'll like it like 3 or 4 times so it ranks, and then a lot of people start liking it. Like, just stop doing that. If you're not funny enough to actually get to the top of the comment section, then don't try to get to the top of the comment section. If you can't tell, I'm like pretty upset with people trying to grow not based on merit. Like, just create good content. I know that you need to get noticed, so say something good so that people like your comment and then show up at the top of other popular YouTubers' videos. And that's the other thing, is I don't really comment on small YouTubers' channels because the audience is just too small to warrant my time. I might get 1 or 2 people to click through from a small channel, whereas if I get a really good comment on a video that's getting like 1 million views, I'll likely have hundreds of people click through my channel. So I'd rather just focus on commenting on big channels than small channels. These last 3 points is actual cross promotion. So prospecting, that's like friending random people on Facebook or LinkedIn and then directing them to your channel. That's prospecting. You can do a little bit of that. Again, I wouldn't recommend getting most of your traffic from there though. Email marketing, this is a great opportunity. Just send out an email, like a weekly newsletter, like, hey, I published a video this week. That's really good. That's something that I would do. And then this last one, social media. Even if you have like a small following on other social medias, it's good to post about it. That's like how I got my first initial viewers, was just posting on Instagram. I had like 1,000 followers there. Start with what you have, but don't rely on it too much and try to grow with YouTube. That's the name of the game here. Okay, so that's it for CTR. Now we're gonna go to session time. I've got this divided kind of into 2 separate parts: the tech stuff, which is like stuff you do in YouTube Studio to make this happen, and then quality over quantity, which we've talked about a lot, but I'm gonna discuss specific examples here that can help you. Tech stuff, you should definitely add end screens. Make sure you have like options. End screens is where at the very end of a video, it'll suggest other videos to you. Add those at the end of every single video, not that hard. Cards, this also helps. It's just like that thing that pops up in the corner and says like, watch this other video. I'm not a huge fan of these, but apparently it helps the algorithm, just because if they, if you do that, then they're clicking out of the one video to go to the other video. But it's helpful for some people because they might not want to watch the video that they're currently watching because another one's a better fit for them. And then number 3 here is playlists. Try to set up your YouTube channel like a social landing page. So when somebody lands on your page, they can see, okay, this guy talks about these specific things. That's really helpful. I can scroll down to see which ones I'm interested in. And make sure they have a popular uploads playlist. It drives me crazy when people don't have that, because then you can't find out which video you liked, you know, is the most liked of theirs, which probably means you will like it the most as well. So make sure you have a popular uploads playlist, and then you can look at my channel for an example of how the other playlists are set up as well. Quality over quantity. And then here I've said every single time. I'm going to give you 2 examples of where this is true. Brian Dean, who I'm going to talk about a little bit later as well, he's the owner of Backlinko. He uploaded 20 videos and he was at 100,000 subscribers. So don't sit there and tell me I have to upload 3 times a week to grow on YouTube. It's not true. James Johnny, I think he has like 6 videos on his channel and he's at 250,000 subscribers last time I checked. So again, 2 people who have created the right kinds of videos instead of just throwing up whatever works. Like, if you could guaranteed get 100,000 subscribers with 20 videos, but you had to work really, really hard on each of those videos, would you do it? I think that what happens to a lot of creators is they're not comfortable with the struggle, and so they just want to post something and just get it up there, which is good. It's good to get in that habit. But if you want to grow quickly, you're going to need really high quality content, which most people just don't have the guts or the time or the resolve to make. So then the other question, which I forgot to write on here, is how often should I post then, Keaton? And honestly, I don't know what to tell you, because there's so many people that'll say you have to post once a week, like the algorithm favors consistency, all of these things. But then you look at James Johnny and you look at Brian Dean and you look at Mark Rober. Mark Rober is one of the most popular YouTubers of all time, and he publishes 12 videos a year. He focuses so much on the concept of each video and making an amazing video that he knows it's going to do well every time, so he doesn't even have to worry about how often he posts. But if you're not posting amazing content, or if you're young, it is important, I think, to post consistently. YouTube will respect you more when you do, so, you know, whatever. I really don't have an answer to that question. There's so many people with conflicting advice that I just, quality over quantity. And then here, this last point is, should I have a common thread through all of my videos? Honestly, I think you should, because that will help increase session time. You know, when you have like a playlist about minimalism or a playlist about entrepreneurship like I do, then people can go, and if they're interested in that topic, they like you, they want to watch a video from you, they can go there and watch that specific video. Oh my, I'm tired. You don't even know how long it took to prepare that video, film it, and how much it's going to take me to edit it now. That's probably the last point I want to make here, is when I was first starting out, I think I spent, this video I'm going to put up here, I spent 30 to 40 hours on that video. And you know, it's because I was a beginning filmmaker, all of these things. But I think most people just underestimate the sheer amount of time that it's going to take to create a good video. Don't be somebody that's trying to get something for nothing. Give value to people, and you'll eventually get value through ads, through monetizing, and through creating the brand that you want to through YouTube. I just wanted to close this video out by mentioning some of my favorite resources and sifting through a ton of stuff about YouTube that has helped me make this video. One is Patty Galloway's YouTube channel. He does like reviews of how people grow on YouTube. Excellent stuff, and it really helps you think about stuff that's not just like algorithm stuff, which most people focus on. Something else that has really helped me is just going and looking at the top videos on other people's channels. That helps me understand what people like, what they click on this platform, and help create content that's going to do the same thing. This video by Brian Dean really helped me as far as like SEO, all of the most important stuff. This video by Veritasium, I think is how you say it. Excellent video, like that one, this video. If you do nothing else after this, watch that video. And then also Graham Stephan's YouTube course was excellent. If you want to get $200 off of that program, you can watch the other video that I made comparing his course and Sonny Lenarduzzi's course. I really sincerely hope that this video has provided you with a lot of clarity when it comes to growing on YouTube. Thank you so much. It means the world to me that you're watching this video. Please comment what you learned down below. What was your favorite part, or other questions you have. I read every comment and I will reply to almost every comment. And I will see you in the next video.